MJ saying, someone asked me today, why do artists sign bad deals with labels? Listen, a bad deal is a bad deal only when it becomes a bad deal. Because when you're signing it, it might be the best thing you ever did. If you have €0 in your bank account and you had €0 in your bank account for the last 2 years, and somebody comes to you and tells you, here's 10,000, give me your music, I own it, and I'll give you 3% on what I make, and I'm gonna make you a superstar. And now you have 10K, so you can pay a rent, you can survive, and they tell you, hey, when you're hungry, don't worry, come to the label. We have a small restaurant down there, open bar for you. Yeah, you can bring some friends, you can bring a girl, no problem. And every time they take you to dinner, they take you XYZ. Actually, going from 0 to 10,000 is an amazing deal, right? And your dreams are possible now. So you make your first song, they invest in it, the song comes out, now it becomes a huge song. It generates $10 million. From these $10 million, you get 3%, which is so 100,000 multiplied by 3, which is 300,000. So you have 300,000, which is more you ever had in your life. 300,000. And then you realize that maybe 2-3 years have passed. You learn a bit about the business, etc. And you realize that in reality, deals, usually, an artist that begins gets 7%. And if they sell more than a certain point, they make 8%. And if they sell more than another threshold, they get 9%. And you're like, what? And now you believe that you've been screwed. And it was a bad deal. But it took you from nothing to here. So what you have to do when you're here and you want to continue, and maybe you want to, your next album, you want to arrive here, you take your 300,000 that you made and you find yourself a good entertainment lawyer, because now you have the possibility to do that. You take your 300,000 and listen, you put 200,000 in a house or something, put your mama out of the ghetto or whatever, something. Now you have 100K for day to day. You don't spend too much. You don't buy a chain, you don't buy a car, or maybe you buy a nice car, but nothing special, 10,000, 15,000. You don't need to abuse because you don't have to prove something to people. And you take maybe 10, 20,000 and you bring them to a lawyer. You tell that lawyer, listen, this is my deal. What do you think? The lawyer tells you, okay, this is good, this is good, this is bad, this is bad, this, okay, this is bad. Oh, what, 3%? Nah, it should be 7%. Yeah, you should have, okay. All right, let's go to your record company. You go to your record company and now you renegotiate. Because when you met them, you were here, they were here, and now they need you to make another hit for them. So you have some leverage. So now you go to them and you tell them, hey, 3%, it's not gonna make it. I want 8% because I just sold you, I just made you 10 million. I want 8% of the next one. I want listen, I want 8%, and then if I sell more than X, I want 9%, and if I sell more than X, I want 10%. Or you can go to them and tell them, hey, next album, here's my 300K. Bah! I'm gonna do my album by myself. I want to change my contract. I'm gonna make my album by myself, and I'm gonna spend my own money. And instead of being the label, now you're gonna just distribute, or you're gonna do a license. So instead of giving me 3%, you're gonna give me 30%. Now, next time you make 10 million for them, instead of getting 300,000, now you make 3 million. And it's not a bad deal, it's a new deal. And you have to understand the way most of these artists are coming from. A lot of them, they never had 10,000. So when you never had 10,000, it's like somebody coming out of the desert after 10 days without drinking and without eating nothing. You give them a cookie, it's the best cookie they ever had in their life. Well, you have more of these cookies? Yeah, I have a box of cookies. Sign here. Now, once you understand the business a little bit, you realize it's just cookies, because now you eat sushis. So it's, when people say it's a bad deal or it's an abuse, whatever. Nah, listen. In reality, the person who invests their money and risk their money are the ones that, own the benefits, because they are the one who risks the money. And nowadays, where anybody can buy a microphone like this one, and listen, Thriller from Michael Jackson was recorded in one of those. Just this is a digital version, but same sound. This camera can shoot music videos that are the quality of the music video that I used to pay 30,000 euros. So nowadays, there's no excuses. And you don't need MTV. You don't need to beg Trace TV or Channel O or somebody to play your music videos, because you can put them here on YouTube. And then you go on TikTok, you create a trend, and when the things are rolling, if your song is there, you put it on Believe, Zimbalam, CD Baby, whatever, and you make 90% of the profit. But most people, they're lazy. They prefer taking the dinner. They will prefer somebody else to take the risk because they don't want to risk, or they don't have the money to risk, or they don't want to ask a grandpa or auntie or somebody. Listen, sometimes they just don't have the possibility. So what they will do is they will let somebody take the risk, and that person will take the money. So I believe that if you sign a bad deal, it is always your fault because of lack of informing yourself. Listen, when I signed my deal, listen, okay, my story is different. I'm luckier than most, and I wouldn't say my deal was bad. It was not. It was okay. I had 6, 7, and 8% from my deal with Sony. And when I got my contract, I looked at it. I read it and I said, "Can I take it home?" And they say, "Yeah, of course. Yes, of course." They were looking at me like, "What?" But they say, "Yeah, of course." So I took it home. But the whole time I was scared that maybe they would change their mind and not sign me anymore. So I look at it, but lucky for me, I was studying economics. So I was not a stranger to reading a contract. But still, I knew a few people. I knew a few rappers that signed already. I knew a few people that were managers. So I showed them my contract. And most people told me, "Yeah, listen, it's a normal contract." So At a point, listen, my dream was to sing, and listen, signing with Sony was amazing for me. So it was not about the money, and they were telling me, we're gonna give you 100,000 francs, I believe. So today is 15,000 euros, but with inflation, it's like 100,000 euros. And that was in 97. And when I signed, the first thing I asked them was, okay, they were like, okay, do you want cash sent to your bank account? And I was like, no, I want half of it cash, and half of it I want you to use your company, because I know you have prices on musical instruments. I'm gonna give you a list of things that I want to buy. And they were like, this guy is different. And I said, listen, I want this microphone, I want this mixer, I want this MIDI converter, I want this keyboard, I want this MIDI keyboard, I want this expander, I want this expansion for this, I want these CDs with samples in there, I want a sampler S5000 to replace my S950, etc. I had a list of things that I wanted for a long time, and when I knew I had 50K to spend, I could just have them for me. But I knew that they could buy what I would spend for maybe it would cost me 75K, but I knew to them it would cost them 50K because they own studios and stuff. So I received my first complete home studio instead of money, and I still had money also that I received. And then after the sales of the first album, I probably had my first check arrive. It was 80K. So they made their money back. Listen, I made them $1 million, and I made probably 80K, 90K. And it was not a bad deal, because I had the video that I wanted. I had a crazy video that cost the money that I couldn't afford. I had this, I had that. I toured. Listen, they put the machine behind me, and this is where I am today because of that. So I can never say it was a bad deal. It was just the deal that I could afford at the time.